It was a fine-looking truck until somebody got careless on his job. There's something different happening every day, and almost every problem can be turned into an opportunity, especially when you're working for our driving force. And that's how a lot of us think of our collection crews. A driving force that's part of the big outfit that has the driving force to help so many people, the Salvation Army. My name's Joe Wright, and I'd like to show you some of the tips I've picked up to make the job successful. Of course, it helps to know what not to do, too. So, meet Ulysses Duffel. It's plain to see he doesn't have any driving force at all. That's why Ulysses was always known by the name of Useless.
Hey, boss, how come you're always shaking your head?
Well, I don't know. Just one look at you. You need a shave, your clothes are filthy. Looks like you just come out of the dump.
Oh, come on, but you're always picking on the little things.
Every worker is expected to greet the public as a decent-appearing representative of the Salvation Army, neat and clean. The average Salvation Army truck costs $4,500 or more. It's every driver's responsibility to protect this investment with a checkup at the start of every working day. A good driver checks his tires every morning, checks the turn signals and the mirrors on both sides, wipes his truck, logs his starting mileage, warms up the engine before starting on his route.
When I warm them, they know they've been warmed.
On the road, it's up to the driver to obey the traffic laws of the land, to drive safely, and to drive with the common sense necessary to take good care of your truck. Use your brakes, not your clutch, when stopped while going uphill. Don't strain the engine by using the wrong gear, and don't lug your motor. Not shifting into the proper gear to pull your truck up a hill causes repair bills you can prevent. Everything rides easier in the proper gear, including your own comfort. Observe the golden rules of the road for the safety of everyone, including yourself. Don't follow the vehicle ahead too closely. Don't be a lane changer. And when circumstances require changing lanes, check the mirrors. When you park, take it easy on the tires. You can't recap tires when the sidewall's are frayed, so let's avoid curb rubbing. Drive according to road conditions and not only according to speed limits. Your truck is your biggest visible symbol of the Salvation Army. It's like waving a flag, so drive carefully. Your public relations are showing, right out in front of everybody. And the sight of a Salvation Army truck involved in a traffic citation makes a bad public impression, just as it hurts your own personal record. Don't park on the wrong side of the street. Don't park in front of a driveway. And don't back up unless the helper is off the truck to guide the driver. You wouldn't want that to happen to your child now, would you? This is so important, we'll say it again. You never know what's hidden behind your truck. So observe the rule. When backing up, helper must be off the truck to guide the driver. A driveway should not be entered with or without the owner's permission. And even when you are clearly not to blame, note down all the necessary facts. Draw your diagram of the accident. Get names of witnesses. Contact your Salvation Army office immediately and fill out an accident report as soon as you return to the office. Even before the trucks roll, forces have been at work to make the collections effective. Every man on every truck is backed up by organization and planning. The centers do everything possible to make it easy for donors to phone in. This includes priority listing in the telephone books and an organized method of receiving the calls, whether by phone answering assignments shared among the staff or with switchboards as the centers deem advisable. However the calls are answered, each order is recorded and routed to the dispatcher, who sees that the call slips are classified into their related districts, so the trucks can cover their routes efficiently. In all centers, the driver receives 2 copies, the white original and the yellow thank you receipt. After each pickup, the yellow slip is signed and handed to the donor as a receipt for income tax purposes. This is our national policy.
You know me, I like to sign them all ahead of time. And that way I don't have to bother with them all the rest of the day.
Do not sign these receipts in advance because the donor may be out and someone else may make the pickup on another day. The white slip should be turned in at the end of the day as a business record. So after every pickup, it should be properly marked and initialed. If a pickup has to be refused, mark NG. List the items refused and initial. Regular calls are permanent repeats to be made periodically as arranged in advance, such as once every week or once every month. If there is any doubt which articles should be taken, ask about them. These regular calls are worth their weight in gold because there's something we can count on all the time. All workers should be careful to avoid walking on lawns and across gardens. Some centers are able to increase the amount of their collections by sending out solicitors a day or so previous to the arrival of the trucks. A good solicitor soon learns just what to say.
Good morning, madam. I'm a solicitor for the Salvation Army. You know, we have a serious need for serviceable clothing and repairable furniture, items which could be repaired in our workshop and which would help us in our rehabilitation program. We need a steady flow of this kind of material, and we would appreciate it very much if you have some for us. Our truck will be in the area tomorrow, and our driver would be very happy to stop and pick up anything you can give us.
So let's meet your public. Where do you start? With a parking place that can be seen from the houses where you will call whenever possible. For your truck is a giant advertising display on wheels. Helps you to gain immediate acceptance. That voice is the sound of opportunity.
You can't fool me. Opportunity doesn't call, it knocks. And only once at that.
You can't fool me either. Opportunity uses many voices. You know, like when a housewife who didn't phone in sees my truck and gets the idea. She calls yoo-hoo and we've got an extra collection.
Yoo-hoo!
Certainly, this housewife represents one of the most valuable collection calls available to the Salvation Army.
I was just hoping a truck would come by. I was saving these things for the Salvation Army.
Well, I can't take that heavy stuff. You're not in my call list.
Well, it's true I didn't phone in, but I didn't know a truck would be coming by this week.
Lady, I've got trouble enough just keeping up with my regular calls. I've got 2 full alone already. If you want to get rid of this, you'll have to call up and wait until I can get around.
Whether you are expected to call at the back door or side door, garage or front entrance, according to the customs of your part of the country, the truck crew should understand the importance of making a good first impression.
Salvation Army, ma'am.
I beg your pardon?
They're called the Sally, didn't you?
Yes, but I didn't think you'd get here so quickly. I haven't everything ready yet. Could you wait just a moment?
I'm in a hurry, and we can't bring the truck back either, but don't feel bad about it. I'm expected to make so many calls a day, and even then we can't get them all.
Oh, say, while you're here, would you help take some of these boxes up to my attic?
Lady, time's too important. I got better things to do.
Madam, I'd be more than happy to help, but you see, our work therapy program for handicapped men has to keep going. And we must keep promises already made for pickups. I hope you understand.
Oh, I do. And that reminds me, my clothes closet is getting all jammed up.
A little bit of patience and thoughtfulness can go a long way to make your job successful. Take refusals, for instance.
Lady, I can't take that. Why, if I were to take that old thing, I'd get canned.
Lady, I just wish we could take this piece of furniture. We know you want to help our program, but right now our facilities just won't allow us to take an item like this, because most of the time it costs more to repair and recover them than we can receive for them. Thanks just the same. However, we could find a good use for that lamp table if you could part with it.
And do you know I gave him the table and the lamp on it? I feel so good when I give to the Salvation Army.
What did you ever do with that awful old...
Oh, Hank carted it off to the dump Sunday. It was pretty bad.
I say you should have made that Salvation Army man take it.
Don't you like them?
Certainly not. I had one of them just plain lie to me once.
Well, this refrigerator looks kind of heavy. Tell you what, we'll have the truck back here tomorrow, and I'll have extra help. I'll come back and get it then. Okay? Huh?
And do you know he didn't come back at all? I don't think he ever expected to. But I fixed them. The next time, I called that other agency.
Did you? Do you know, that reminds me of an experience I had.
I guess you want all this stuff to go to the Salvation Army.
No, I don't. I'm saving it for that other agency.
Oh, hey, look, lady. You don't want to give to them. Why, they steal from us all the time. Just a bunch of pirates.
He had the nerve to knock those good people. I was so mad I could boil.
Oh, that wasn't my experience, and I'd been saving for one of those other agencies, too.
You're entirely right, ma'am. That's a mighty fine agency, and they do a lot of good work, too. But we feel that there's enough usable material to help us all out. All we ask is that you let us have our turn, too.
Now that you put it that way, I'm sure you deserve a turn. And say, we have a rug that's in pretty good shape, too.
The word gets around. A good impression, a bad impression. It all adds up to the fact that people are genuinely interested in helping other people. They want to know about the Salvation Army. So it's only natural. They ask the driver.
Oh, gosh, lady. You don't expect an ordinary truck driver to know that kind of stuff, do you?
Well, ma'am, the Salvation Army offers many wonderful welfare services. Our truck service represents the Men's Social Service Department of the Salvation Army. It's a full-time rehabilitation program for men with all kinds of other handicaps. Work therapy takes the men's minds off their troubles when they repair things. You know, just like the ones you're donating. Say, you ought to take a tour through our place. It's an eye-opener.
Do you mean to say you sell these items? I want them to go where they'll do the most good.
Oh, you heard correctly, ma'am. After our donations are repaired as part of our work therapy program, they're put into our Salvation Army stores. Now, their prices are within the reach of people with very limited incomes. So you see, everybody benefits. The men are provided with work therapy, and people who couldn't afford these supplies get the self-respect of shopping in a store, even though the prices are so low. Besides, the small margin that's left over makes our whole program self-sustaining. Now, isn't that better than having just one person get a gift that nobody could afford to repair?
Oh, I think that's wonderful.
Don't tell me you don't take cash. I've been called on for cash donation by the Salvation Army.
Well, madam, the overall organization of the Salvation Army needs public support. They have regular drives like the call you received. Now, our truck service represents a rehabilitation program that's, well, it's just one small part of the larger organization. You see, we're not out looking for money when we can do so much good with repairable discards.
My husband gives once a year down at the office in the big United Funding Community Campaign. I thought the Salvation Army received cash from that.
Well, my truck belongs to the Men's Social Service Department. We don't get any of that money for our operations. We're self-sustaining, just by careful handling of these donated discards. Questions, questions, questions. The public is curious, and your answer is right if it's courteous and interested. To be successful on your job, get to know the program of your center. Then you'll find yourself agreeing with a lot of people, especially when they say,
Why, those men know what they're talking about.
in your actions as well as your answers, your public relations are showing. Careful truck loading makes your job easier, more effective. Start from the front. Work your way to the back with neat stacks, taking care not to put heavy objects on top of items that can be easily broken or scratched. It took work to collect these materials, the work of many people. Your collections are of value to your organization, so load them carefully. And don't try to get out of work by making it look like you've finished early. Don't leave the front of the truck vacant and try to hide a light load by piling everything in back. The truck supervisor knows better. All items received are the property of the Salvation Army.
Oh, but I want you to have this just for yourself. I'm giving it to you.
Well, that's mighty thoughtful of you, ma'am. But I'm working for the Salvation Army. I'm not allowed to accept gifts, and it's a good thing because they can do more good with your kind donation than I can. Only regular equipment should be carried inside each cab. Management is aware of the temptations, so it's better not to ask for trouble. And if a man reports to work at the start of a day wearing a shirt of one color and returns at the end of the day wearing any number of shirts, he's really asking for trouble. Theft is cause for dismissal. The same way honesty is recognized with rewards of many kinds. Don't you realize you can be eliminated from the program that way? Methods of communication between trucks and centers vary in different locations. When the telephone is the principal medium, be sure to report in by phone as the situation requires. Centers with large fleets of trucks often provide radio telephones. If the mobile radio in your truck does not function properly, report it to your supervisor. And if it fails, Phone in for instructions using the nearest public telephone. Under normal circumstances, your radio should be used to report the location of the truck at all times. You should keep your conversations short. For the man who is alert to his job, it's easy to win more friends for the Salvation Army. Taking off your hat, a smile, and a thank you go a long way to make new friends and keep old ones. And when you're alive about your job, you give an added boost to your fellow workers who are going through the rehabilitation program. You can take pride in being part of that program and make an effort to know what it's really about. A good truck operator becomes informed about the repair shops, the residents, and all the opportunities for rehabilitation that are utilized by the Salvation Army. Others will ask, and you can be proud of your answers, for you are a vital part of the work of the entire Salvation Army, a worldwide Christian movement that has been called the greatest humanitarian effort ever known. And when you bring in the tonnage, you help to keep it going. For all it takes to succeed as a member of the driving force is your own driving force.